A client hired me to open up an inside sales conference, and the CEO of the company started the conference this way. He said to his sales team, when you routinely negotiate on price, are willing to drop the price, are willing to offer price discounts, you are habitually training your buyers to negotiate with you solely on price. So I'm here to talk about how you can negotiate on value. I want to give you some tips and techniques to help you talk about value in a way that'll break the habit that you have about negotiating on price. In a negotiation, there are always competing interests. Price and value are just two of the most obvious kinds of competing interests. Buyers will say to you, we want value, and then when it comes down to brass tacks, they nickel and dime you on price. So how do we overcome that? How do we get to a place where we're going to be able to negotiate on value? Well, selling has gotten a little bit more challenging. I've been doing this for myself for many years, so I've seen the change myself. This is from the Conference Executive Board. Their research tells us that the buyers are doing 57% of the research and due diligence before they even engage the supplier to start the down selection process. 57%. So what does that mean to price and value? It means that they're making up their mind on the value of your product or your service before you even get a chance to talk to them. They're going to the internet, they're doing research, they're talking to their colleagues. I do very big deals, so we've got multiple stakeholders, so they're going into the line of business, and they're making their decisions based on what they're finding out, not necessarily based on having a conversation with you. So the idea is you've got to get and take advantage of that 43%. You need to bring insight to the conversation. You need to change the value conversation for them, for the buyer, or what happens is, because they're in the last 43% of the buying process, they're going to nickel and dime you on price because they've already made up their mind. See, they've educated themselves on the internet, so they know. So insight is really the value conversation. This is where I really find that there's an opportunity for those of you in sales to differentiate yourself and to become ruthlessly relevant, to become the rock star in your industry. Because if you can master being able to talk about value in some very specific ways that I know buyers want you to talk about value, you can stand out in the crowd. Now, yes, are there going to be buyers that are still going to be interested in nickeling and diming you? Absolutely. Are those purchasing organizations going to survive? No, they're not. I work with them. They hire me. I work on both sides of the fence. The ones that are going to survive are engaging me to talk about very complex topics, different kinds of pricing models, how to negotiate on total cost of ownership, total landed cost, should cost analysis. They want better data, they want better information, and they want to know how to quantify value. They're done shaking the tree because they're not getting what they want. So let's start talking to them about how to be ruthlessly relevant, because ruthlessly relevant sales organizations tie price and value together in a very specific way that buyers want to hear about. And more importantly, if any of you sell into procurement organizations, and where you're working with maybe a contract specialist or a procurement or a professional buyer, and the business owner isn't even there, who's got the authority to buy, who ultimately will sign on the dotted line, this conversation brings them back to the table. Because what you're doing is you're empowering the buyer to go back to the line of business with new information. That's the insight. And you're bringing them back to the table. Because when you're just negotiating on price, any buyer can do that for you. So if you want to learn more, please visit my website. I've got all kinds of resources available to you.